Are you ready, you guys? I saw a polar bear. Hi, YouTube! Today we are watching more casual Geographic, How to Love an Animal to Death. I only clicked this one because I was mousing over the videos and a polar bear popped up in the preview. Therefore, I will watch this because I am nothing if not consistent. I love my brethren. Honor your brethren. Honor your polar bear brethren. Or maybe it was a picture of me. I don't know. I'll have to see the picture again to know if that was me or not. Maybe it was someone I know. I'm gonna like the video because I'm sure it's gonna be so amazing. I'm no stranger to loving an animal to death. My dog, I have 2 huskies. I call them honks. I have a boy honk who likes to be babied and he wants you to kiss him and be like, oh, hello, baby, and kiss him a lot. And then I have a girl honk who wants me to throw things at her and push her and spin her in circles and chase her around the house and play with her. And if I pick her up or if I like kiss her, she like moves her head away, or she doesn't want to be hugged or held like a baby. She doesn't like it. She is Miss Independent and doesn't like it. And so sometimes I feel like she gets really exasperated with me and thinks that I am loving her to death, which is true. I love her so much. I'm sorry. I love my honks so much, even if they are rude and sassy to me. I love her very much.
This is the exact moment right before a sea lion grabbed and dragged a little girl off a fisherman's wharf off British Columbia.
I think she was okay. I remember reading about this and she was fine. She was just scared. Her grandpa like jumps in or something.
Thankfully, she was immediately rescued and mostly unharmed, but given a small parting gift of a small superficial bite wound and a trip to the hospital to be treated for seal finger, which surely wasn't fun. This situation turned out a lot better than it could have been, but it's only a symptom of a much larger problem. This is the skull of a polar bear, the largest land predator on Earth, and an
Where'd you get that from? Can I have that back? Thank you. I know I have. Look at my fangs. Do you see them? Guys, I finally have a reason to say this in a YouTube video. Foof, the inside of your mouth is so dark. Google polar bear mouth. For the love of God. The inside of a polar bear's mouth is literally purple. That's what it looks like. For the love of God, please stop commenting that. It's just showing you're upset with an anime Vtuber girl because my mouth is purple. It's what a polar bear's mouth looks like. It's literally purple. It's what I am. Yeah, well, I'm a small polar bear though. 8.5 feet is the normal height. I'm only 6'4", so I'm a pretty small polar bear.
health bar above your head when you see one. This is the skull of the mercifully extinct short-faced bear, and this is the skull of a spotted hyena, a predatory laughter with jaws that can chew through an elephant's leg.
They look pretty similar.
With people that actually care about them would ever walk willingly into the strike range of one of these animals. The problem is I lied. That is not a bear. That is the internal headpiece of a stellar sea lion. Here's a quick video for the uninitiated. No respectable parent would ever allow their child anywhere near these wild predators. Yet there's an asinine number that'll not—
That's why my streams are 18+.
just walk up to these, they'll seemingly offer their children to a predator in a way that should put you in a
Who would do that?
Ass a 9, ass a 10, that's ass a 20. Even in this video, the sea lion literally lunges within inches of the little girl. Yet no one gains a sense of urgency until it triggers an Amber Alert. Moral of the story, treat sea lions the way you would a grizzly bear.
I didn't know that sea lion was like playing with them beforehand. I thought the sea lion came out of nowhere. I never saw that part of the video. That's so stupid. That makes me feel, I still feel bad for the little girl, but that makes me even more mad about like the people who were just standing there being like, oh yeah, put your back up to this. Yeah, look at how sweet Fluffy is. Fluffy's so cute. Wow.
Because if you look at the skull, they're already halfway there. Sea lions got their name for one main reason. But you see, sea lions be lying and actually lie on the dog side of Order Carnivora, right there next to the bears of Ursidae and the weasel crashouts mustelids. Beach bears have decided to do the land thing part-time. Think of that every time someone calls one a sea puppy. They give bear in the face and bear in the waist, and I'm talking about their diet. Don't think they only eat fish, they'll straight up run down penguins. They'll unscrew the heads off of seagulls like bottle caps. I've seen them do it. They'll rip the throats out of sharks and eat them. Don't think that relationship is one-sided. There's whatever disrespect is this picture, and they'll even resort to flipper friendly fire, as South American sea lions have mauled and eaten baby elephant seals, and some adult elephant seals will stalk and eat baby sea lions, and there's even eat other seals. And the same way you have land bears pulling up for a piece of our garbage, in some places like Chile, you have sea lions spawning at fish markets for free eats. And if you live here, a panhandling pinniped is as common to you as a deer, fox, or raccoon.
This is actually kind of cute though. I actually really like this. He looks like he looks like a big fat baby. I know he's a mean man who would eat my face, but he looks like a big fat baby. It would take everything I had not to like want to hug his fat stupid head. He's so cute.
But this can also lead to turf wars between the city slicking sea lions and packs of stray dogs already living there. Y'all call them sea dogs. Maybe y'all need to see them next to dogs to realize Gulf grizzlies are not a joke. Nobody realizes how big sea lions are until it's time to realize how big sea lions are. Stellar sea lions are furry flippered boulders that can get to 9 feet and over 2,000 pounds.
He's so fat.
But even the more common California sea lion can humble you at over 800
Oh my god.
Now this isn't to demonize them.
Right on her sternum. Bro, she probably couldn't breathe after this.
California sea lion can humble you at over
his elbow right under his sternum.
Now this isn't to demonize them. They are wild carnivores that actually don't have a reputation for being super aggressive. Unless you run into a hallucinating
they just look dumb.
That nightmare situation is the work of toxic algae blooms, the red tide, aka the Pacific's period. You know, jokes like that are the reason my audience is only 20% female. The problem is the toxic algae is eaten by small fish, and the small fish are then eaten by sea lions, meaning the sea bears bioaccumulate a neurotoxin that can lead to domoic acid toxicosis, which essentially turns them into zombies. Poisoned sea lions can suffer seizures and severe lethargy, but can also become wildly, almost rabidly aggressive. Girl, if you don't stand up. One man was surfing when an intoxicated sea lion jumped him and dragged him off his board. From the way he would describe the you'd swear the sea lion was possessed by a demon. Sea lion almost had him lying under the sea permanently. Now, this isn't to make you hate or fear sea lion. Well, actually, yeah, it is. A little. Yeah, healthy fear, you know? Because this video proves two things. One, as a society, we are not afraid of sea lions enough. And two, I gotta re-examine my personal biases. I've known about this video for years. And for years, I assumed it took place somewhere in South America. Like Uruguay. Shout out to Uruguay. This was in San Diego. La Jolla, actually. I know that because I went to San Diego, I went to La Jolla, and y'all do not take sea lions seriously over there. Which proves
Wait, what?
We as a society are not nearly afraid enough of seal finger. And if you're wondering, seal finger is what happens when a sea lion that eats fish for a living without seeing floss or lying on a dentist chair bites you.
Oh my god.
An incredibly painful bacterial infection that can escalate to an amputation.
Literally, what the how do you fall in like this? This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. She literally wanted to go in. What?
On a dentist chair bites you. Just an incredibly painful bacterial infection that can escalate to an amputation, and a hand that appears to be inflated. The chances you catch the seal version of the cheese touch are low, but everyone here is effing around on the doorstep of finding out, like this girl almost did. You never want to get got, but if you do, the incubation period of only a few days means you best get treatment soon. Waiting too long can be the—
I'm not even gonna like try to be funny about this. If I get bit by a sea lion, I'm not waiting a couple days. I would be like, oh, let's go to the hospital now. Getting bit by a sea lion is not something that I would like ever like mess around with. What?
Difference between a cool scar with a story to tell and being a finger short on a handshake. I wouldn't know. I've never been mauled by a sea lion. I did get bitten by a squirrel as a kid though. To be fair, it was not the squirrel's fault. Either way, you can probably relate to putting off doctor's appointments longer than you should, and I would know. These dunks came at a price, and it's that I've seen the inside of more physical therapy clinics than gyms. Somehow I'm still not done. The longer I live, the more I understand this man right here. That's why it's pretty cool to have Zocdoc sponsoring this video. Zocdoc's a free website that lets you search and compare in-network doctors, read actual human patient reviews, and see actual up-to-date appointments. Basically making that small but very annoying aspect of being an adult easier. I do appreciate that you could book online without having to run the gauntlet of phone tags.
This is cool too though.
That was taking years off my life. They also have 150,000 providers across hundreds of different specialties. Like calves. Now, what a deadbeat body part. Cows pop one out in 9 months. I can't heal mine after 1 year. That is a load of cows. Also, you can usually find appointments within 24 to 72 hours. Sometimes even same day, which again, really wish I had that a couple years ago. probably wouldn't have walked around with a torn ACL for 2 years. I'm not exactly happy about having to constantly book appointments, but the only way through it is to do it, and Zocdoc does go a long way in making the most tedious part of making appointments easier. And if you'd also like to lower your mental barrier of entry, you can hit the link in the description or go to Zocdoc.com/casualgeographic. Shout out to Zocdoc for sponsoring this video and for making taking care of your health that much easier. There is an even easier way though, because not doing this would have cost you absolutely nothing. Instead, you're negotiating custody with a wild carnivore. Now, mentioning their size, eyes, and predatory pastimes wasn't to make you hate them. But if you ignore that, you might be one of those people guilty of loving them to death. There are no absolutes in nature. Calling a wild apex predator a sea puppy can be just as damaging as dropping jaws on them. And I don't think there's a single predator that gets sea puppied more than an animal literally named lion. I don't think people realize how terrifying it is to get jumped by a mob of sea lions, especially in the water. But the problem isn't the sea lions, it's the people. Like I said, I just went to La Jolla in San Diego. I could not believe the lack of respect for a predator. People senselessly swarming them, completely crowding them, and even just barely being run over by them. Pause it. If an animal with sea in its name charges you, I do not think retreating into the water is the best use of your mental
Seriously.
faculties. This was an insane image. One, because I do not think these people realize they are within striking range of an animal that could literally drown them. But more importantly, two, this is only gonna get sea lions killed. San Diego has arguably the best weather in America, with beaches that rank pretty high up too. It's the perfect nursery for hauled out sea lions, who have their pupping season from mid-May through October.
Yeah,
many pups being born.
I think like the issue also is like people, you have to respect these animals because they can't just like, oh man, let me just go somewhere else. There's people everywhere. Like they have to have like somewhere to live. People cannot have the entire globe. Okay. Like you have to realize that animals need somewhere to exist too. And like when you're doing something like that, you could get them sick. You're stressing them out, which stress to an animal, I think we as people are so used to being stressed out 24/7, but that's not something that's good for an animal at all. Point blank, stressing out an animal like that is very, very, very bad. They don't want to hurt you. Like the sea lions are like, oh, let me beat that human up. If you're getting attacked by one, like sometimes they're assholes. And then maybe they look at you as food if you're like a tiny little human. But like majority of the time it's because you stress them the hell out. Please respect animals. Don't get in their space. Don't sit on them to take pictures. Like what the was that one lady thinking with her toddler? That's insane. Horrifying. Horrifying, horrifying. They're animals. They're wild animals. They deserve respect.
Born in June. One mother recently went viral for birthing twins, which is incredibly, never seen before in the wild, rare. The problem is that pupping season also coincides with the peak of tourist seasons, and it's usually tourists that you'll see harassing locals. And this has had devastating consequences. Just this year, out of the 20 sea lion pups born at La Jolla Cove, 9 have already died, with many showing signs of starvation due to abandonment. When people crowd a mother sea lion for pictures, it doesn't just cause unnecessary stress to an animal that should be at rest. It can force the mother into a decision: either stay in a stressful, potentially life-threatening situation, or bail on her baby. It sounds messed up.
They don't know we're not going to hurt them. They're animals, so they're like, they don't know. They can't be like, oh, well, that's a human being, so human beings normally don't hurt us, so we're fine. They don't know that. You're just another animal to them. They don't understand. That's so sad.
In an evolutionary sense, you can always make another baby. Now, should you die, your baby go, and so does your baby making career. It's why marsupials like kangaroos and quokkas will straight up eject their offspring as a last resort. The problem is that last resort often leads to sea lion pup.
It's funny because people are like, we as humans have like every opposite instinct of an animal. It's so interesting. Like we as humans are like, I would sacrifice myself for my infant, but then like actual animals are like, baby, like I actually made it to adulthood. I can make a new one. This mother die without me. It's kind of interesting how humans have like the exact opposite instincts of wild animals nowadays. Yeah. I mean, I think we as a society and like human beings, we're comfortable enough to be able to do that. Like we're comfortable enough to like let ourselves get morbidly obese and be super fat. Like in the real world, if we were animals, you'd be eaten. You'd be a meal very fast. Like you had to stay in tip-top shape in order to survive. So like I think it's just the fact like we as human beings are like comfortable enough to betray our natural instincts. Yeah. So it doesn't matter anymore. But these guys, they live it every day. Yeah, we have the luxury of being like that. Yeah.
Starving to death for a picture you could have just taken from further away with a zoom. Like what are we doing? Now, we can't pin all the deaths on people, but at a nearby cove, out of the 25 pups born, so far only 2 have died. So if it was outside factors, you'd expect most, if not all the pups to be in past tense. But for some reason, one beach has way more infant flatlines than the other, and the only difference is La Jolla Cove is open to people. The tragic irony is, it's probably the people that adore them the most. You know, the animal lovers that just can't help themselves from getting close that are getting the sea lions buried. Basically, seals and sea lions are being loved to death, and it's not just a problem in San Diego. Alright, let's talk about Neil.
Neil.
I am very scared for Neil. Neil is a southern elephant seal whose mother had a problem. In 2020, she was inexperienced and very pregnant. Instead of giving birth on Macquarie Island like up to 20,000 other mother elephant seals, she got lost, possibly in a bad storm, and ended up nearly 1,000 miles off course and had Neil in Salem Bay in Tasmania. In a matter of time and mother's milk, Neil grew up fast and quickly went viral for his blatant disregard for human infrastructure. Neil was a flesh torpedo.
This isn't Neil's fault. This isn't people's fault either. What are you supposed to do when you have a fat seal being everywhere? What are you supposed to do? I think everybody in this situation is doing the best that they can with Neil. He's a special exception. I feel like, yeah, I don't think there's, unless we pick Neil up and we move him somewhere else, I don't really think that, I mean, he'll live his whole life probably very lonely, but he knows where the ocean is, but he'd have to travel really far to get to where all his people are. Yeah, so unless we transport the seal back to where he's supposed to be, this is best case scenario for him. I think that the locals there respect him enough that he wouldn't need to be put down by hurting anybody, because the people there know not to get super close to him, and to every time you see a picture of Neil, he's surrounded by cones, traffic cones. He will die a virgin. Yes, that is unfortunate, unless his mom comes back. He will die a virgin. So it's unfortunate for him that his mom is his only option. But I mean, it's nobody's fault, I think. But the only solution would be to bring him back, and that might stress him out more than anything.
Shaped disrespect to his surroundings, whether it was by galumphing into oncoming traffic or asserting his dominance on a traffic cone. Neil was an ungovernable menace to society that everyone loved. He was basically on a first-name basis with an entire town. That's how Tasmania became the only place where a legitimate excuse to miss work was a 1,300-pound Neil sleeping in front of your car. Neil blew up, in weight, but in clout too, flexing a fan page almost 3 times the population of Tasmania. Neil had messed around and become a national treasure in a place he wasn't supposed to be in, and that would be a problem, one that would come down to the very nature of elephant seals. Southern elephant seals, like many pinnipeds, have strong sight fidelity. Like turtles, they show up to the same beach year after year, so even though they spend up to 10 months at sea, where they'll haul out on land is always a guarantee. But with Neil born in Tasmania, instead of an island like Macquarie, his instinctual GPS would always bring him closer to people than seals. Even if they tried relocating several tons of testosterone, eventually he'd just spawn back in like a homing pigeon.
Yeah.
Which leads to the second problem. Southern elephant seals aren't just the biggest seals, they're by far the tankiest carnivorans. The stellar sea lions from before can weigh 2,500 pounds.
That's fat.
Peak at 4,000, but a peak elephant seal can break the scales at nearly 9,000 pounds. Males use that bulk to get into violently bloody sledgehammer matches for females.
Yeah,
makes Neil's...
He's a baby right now still, so he's not as scary, but eventually it's going to stop being as cute, and it's going to be more scary. As long as the people who live there remain respectful, I think when he gets a little bit older and it's not as cute anymore, I think less people are going to make the trip to meet Neil the seal, and they're going to grow more and more cautious. It might come to a point, though, where people are just sick of having Neil be an ass everywhere, but it'll be less cuter as he gets older. Hopefully people keep the same energy and everyone still respects him, and he's able to live a long, happy life being an ass. But I hope that's what happens. But if not, I would understand if they felt like they had to euthanize poor Neil. I would understand it, because it wouldn't be safe to have him around people. Unfortunately, children exist, and they don't have the same instincts that we do. So you wouldn't be able to let your kids play outside. Really, even slightly older kids who would be allowed to play outside normally, they wouldn't really be able to, because what if Neil decides that he needs to fight them? So yeah, they could take him to a zoo, an animal sanctuary zoo, if they have that ability. But who would take him? Who has an elephant seal exhibit that's looking for a male? I don't think you can have more than one male, probably, per thing. I think that they might fight. Yeah, and he's really big, so how are they gonna move him? It's unfortunate.
Neilness makes sense. Neil is only a fraction of his final form, and he's only going to get bigger. For now, Neil's gone back to the sea, but eventually, he'll come back as a Beachmaster level bull, and with him, so will the chances someone's human curiosity gets them turned into a chalk outline. And in a story you've heard before, the moment it happens, Neil will be a dead seal. To be fair, Tasmanian officials insist that euthanasia is not the move, and there have even been petitions signed against it.
They want to protect him, but people have to respect him. If the locals have to crack down and get nasty, I would expect that from them, honestly. They care about him. People care about the wildlife around them. They really do. If you give them a chance, people are pretty good. But it's the tourist mentality. In a place where you should be really respectful, people like to go around and cause scenes a lot. So I hope that he can live out a full and happy life and people will leave him alone.
Come into contact with Neil, the higher the chances someone ends up loving Neil to death. It wouldn't be the first time. We've played these games before, and it ended with an execution. Meet Freya. Freya was another anomaly. Instead of living in the Arctic Circle with her own kind, somehow the walrus had ended up hundreds of miles away, seen frequenting the coasts of Sweden, Denmark, Germany, and the Netherlands as early as 2019. There's no way to tell how a walrus wound up there. Some say climate change. But also, walruses have the habit of waking up in the weirdest places. Either way, Freya became a staple, and by 2021, she was named after the Norse goddess of love and beauty. By summer 2022, she arrived in Oslofjord, Norway, where her habit of sunbathing on and sometimes sinking boats made her as famous as a walrus could.
She's so fat!
It was like Norway had their own selkie, and Miss Freya easily became a national celebrity. With all the attention, people started coming in from all over to see Freya, often getting close enough to audition for a Darwin Award. Reminder that walruses are tusked, blubber-backed units that can make polar bears pump fake, and Freya herself weighed about as much as a Cape buffalo. That didn't stop people from getting within tusk range, and Freya didn't make it any easier, as she'd gotten comfortable enough with people to start actively approaching them. Walruses are hyper-intelligent and highly social, and instead of being part of a herd hundreds of thousands strong, Freya was left to seek out humans. Seeing where this could go, the Norwegian Directorate of Fisheries issued out several warnings, but of course, we wouldn't be talking about it if they'd listened. It didn't get better, in fact, somehow it got worse. People would continue swarming Freya, would get into the water to swim with Freya, and at one point, some started pelting stuff at Freya. Even after Freya started lashing out and even chased a woman into the water, obviously nobody listened. To make it worse, relocation wasn't really an option, mainly because the process of tranquilizing a 600-kilogram animal would legitimately risk drowning her. Freya had become the unmovable object to the growing public's unstoppable force. The situation was untenable, and it was only a matter of time before someone's lack of preservation got them killed. Walruses are known to be aggressive, but their size has made them hazards by nature, with one incident in 2016 where a selfie-taking tourist was drowned by one. On August 12, 2022, the Directorate issued its final warning, pleading with the public. And on the night of the 13th, 4 government officials patrolled the marina with a rifle, and come sunrise, Freya wasn't around to see it. Freya never hurt anybody, she never did anything wrong, but because people couldn't just let her live, they ultimately sacrificed her right to. Freya had been loved to death, and the worst thing she ever did was trust people. Because like I always say, the worst thing an animal can do is lose its fear of humans. One seal lost its entire existence because of it. The last Caribbean monk seal was seen in 1952. Before that, they existed in populations as large as 300,000. So what happened? Well, when Columbus and friends touched down on the island of Alto Velo, they were met with a horde of seals that showed zero fear towards them. They immediately butchered 8 on sight, starting the disturbing trend of hunters using the seal's nature against it. The Caribbean monk's lack of a flight response meant poachers could just walk right up to them and take their lives with no effort. The seal's docile nature got abused, and they were seemingly wiped out before conservation could even get the chance. Which brings us back to San Diego, where they're somehow recycling the same script of getting way too close to a wild predator. But as an outsider from the opposite coast, there was some lore I was not aware of. In 1931, philanthropist Ellen Browning Scripps sought to create a small sheltered beach where children could play and swim in the waves while safe from the infamous Pacific rip currents. The issue started when the children's pool of La Jolla became a sanctuary, not for kids, but for resting harbor seals who started having
That's so I wish that like people respected animals more, because they're what he's about to tell me they pushed the seals out of this. The seals were so happy to finally have somewhere safe to have their babies.
pups there. By 2009, there were 200-something seals, and San Diego started closing down the beaches temporarily during their pupping season.
Yeah.
That pissed a lot of people off.
No!
The beach was made for kids. People had grown up playing on that beach, and to be fair, they were there first. It was their right. That was the kind of stuff people were saying. Along with lobbying for the city council to remove the seals.
The animals had the planet first. We are like the shepherds of the earth. We have to protect them and be kind to them. Yeah, your kids. They've got a bathtub. Your fat ass kid does not need to be running around on the beach 24/7. Teach it some respect. That would go a long way.
Just for the record, the children's pool is down in South La Jolla. That's the one harboring seals. La Jolla Cove, the one from this video, that's the one with the sea lions. Two different areas that people will mix up while double dipping the same argument. Either way, it's led to a complicated conflict between a city and its sea lions. On paper, the Marine Mammal Protection Act gives sea lions and the like diplomatic immunity, making it illegal to move, malice, or otherwise molest the mammals. The catch is, local park rangers can't enforce a federal protection act. They technically can fine people for the following, but a lot of park rangers are strongly encouraged not to. The most they can do is yell at adult toddlers. Also, there are signs, but signs are as useful as a bicycle to a fish when 20% of the population is illiterate, and even more pretend to be. So La Jolla clearly has a crowd control problem, and a tourist going tourist, but the California Coastal Act means San Diego is legally required to keep all public beaches open. The locals can be just as difficult, as it's many of the long-time residents, especially those in the swim club, that have pushed for the city to remove the sea lions. Probably because living in La Jolla long enough
How? Kill them? What do you want them to do? Take your dumb kids to the nasty public pool like everyone else. Yeah, exactly. Go to the beach then, bro. Figure it out. Your kid doesn't need to swim 1,000,000 feet in the water. Put a life jacket on him and hold a rope. Good luck. Have fun.
guarantees that you've been mobbed by a pride of sea lions at least once. That and the smell. To be fair, as someone who's been to La Jolla, you smell the cove 10 minutes before you get to the cove. I don't know if it was the pelicans or the sea lions, but it's definitely the kind of smell you taste in your eyes. It's so offensive that the city revealed plans to spray an odor abatement on the cliffs to reduce the smell. Yeah, they want to deodorize nature. I hope that sounds as ridiculous as it felt to say. And while no one will argue that it smells like a pelican porta potty, many have argued the possible implications for the animals. So you see how it's a bunch of bureaucratic bullshit and infectious entitlement with sea lions being caught in the middle. But don't get it twisted, sea lions do have an ally, and there are plenty of locals that have made it their mission to safeguard the seals. One of them helped me with this video, and shout out to mermaidmorgan.lajolla for giving me insight that I just would not have had as an outsider. Thanks to her, I was even able to sit in on a coastal commission meeting where I got to see everyday people advocating and giving their voice for those that don't have one. I also found that budget cuts eliminated 52 positions from the Parks and Recreations Department, including rangers. So people do care, it's just that they're not getting the support. So what can you watching this, hello, hi, what can you do? Well, the Sierra Club, this isn't sponsored by the way, but the Sierra Club of San Diego is the largest grassroots environmental activist group in the country, and a big part of their MO is protecting the sea lions. I'm going to be donating to them, link in the description if you'd like to as well. You can also use their link to contact higher ups in San Diego to further apply pressure. And if you're a local, bring back public shaming. If you see someone next to a sea lion, you 100% have the reason to be annoying about it. And if you can't do that, snitch. I'm serious, there's numbers you can call, and sea lions don't have phones. It's not just for the sea lions, it's for Freya, for Neil, and for the seals we aren't getting back. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. YouTube usually doesn't like when I make these kind of videos, so if this video can get to 160,000 likes, I'll post the real reason I went to San Diego. Yeah, foreshadowing. But other than
what was the real reason?
Hug your mother, touch grass, hug your father. Remember, your camera has a zoom on it. You're allowed to use it. And I'm a seal. See y'all in the next one.
Even crazier of me to say, might I add, there's a million pictures professionally taken of sea lions and seals on the internet for you to look at. You don't really need to take your own picture. How about you just look at it in real life? He's scared. Mommy. He's scared. Yeah, I like videos like this, but they make me so mad about people, the entitlement of human beings in general. It grosses me out. Ugh. I don't understand like why people just like forget that we are the apex of the apex. Like we have control over how every animal on planet Earth gets treated. Like you don't think that we should be trying to help them and do the best that we can. The more you like fight nature, the worse life is. It's just the truth. Yeah, we're shepherds. We shouldn't be destroying everything. Humans put a shitload of effort to keep animals alive. Yeah, but then all it takes is one idiot to ruin all of that, though. Just with Neil. If once Neil hurts somebody, it's over for Neil. He only has one chance. And it's not fair that people keep testing him and trying to, like, force him into a precarious situation. Yeah, Harambe is a great example, yeah. By the way, okay, and because not a lot of people know about this, so I would like to tell everybody, if you have insurance, or even if you don't have insurance, you have Amazon Prime, you can utilize they have like a pharmacy section that you can also like schedule video visits with like the doctors that work at Amazon, and they can actually prescribe you like medication and stuff. As long as they don't need you to like, they have facilities I think that you can go to that are like partnered with them. So if they're like, oh, I need you to get labs, you can go to like the facilities they're partnered with and like get labs done there. You still have to obviously pay for it. If you have insurance, you probably wouldn't have to because your insurance would cover it. But if you don't have insurance, it's really very affordable. And also like getting any medication through Amazon, I would not be able to afford my medication if I didn't have Amazon Pharmacy, because like when you have Prime, it like stuff costs like a fourth of what it would without insurance at like a regular pharmacy. So I'm just letting anybody know, obviously don't cancel your insurance tomorrow and be like, I'm going to Amazon Prime. But if you're like me and you don't have insurance, 10 out of 10 would recommend. A lot of people don't know about it, but if you can afford the Amazon Prime, like there's no bad downside to the pharmacy stuff. Even if you have insurance, you can still use your insurance through Amazon Pharmacy still, just so you know. So 10 out of 10. I would not be able to afford medication if I did not have Amazon. So Jeffrey Bezos, I know you're kind of a jerk a lot of the time and you're hoarding a lot of the wealth of the world, but thank you because I don't have to die. Thanks. Thank you.